So my name is Nancy Chen. I'm professor and chair here in anthropology at UC Santa Cruz, and it's my great pleasure to teach and learn about medical anthropology. This is really the study of culture in medicine and the recognition that, in fact, while there might be many different traditional systems of medicine, it's also important to understand that even within biomedicine, there are belief systems that are inherent. So whether one reaches immediately for off-the-counter drugs or garlic and honey, that these are different belief systems that are really crucial. In my own research, I do research in China. My earlier work studied cross-cultural psychiatry and mental health. And more recently, my work has looked at the intersection of food and medicine and the ways in which food is in many ways the front line of medicine and healing. Well, what's fascinating about traditional medicine is that here in the United States, we tend to presume that it's either indigenous cultures or Asian cultures that have traditional medicine. But in fact, for many Spanish-speaking communities, whether from Latin America or the United States, they also have cultural beliefs about the body, as well as traditional beliefs about healing. And so for many cultures, whether here in the United States or from Latin America, they might drink tea, they might believe in the body as a system of hot and cold, and the notion of balance is actually very important. So rather than presume that traditional medicine is only for cultures where there's a written documentation, many Spanish-speaking communities actually believe in humoral medicine, in which the body is made up of hot and cold, as well as influenced by environmental factors. Somatization is a concept that is frequently referred to in medical anthropology. Soma is a Greek term for body, and we often talk about somatization as the language of the body. In other words, when we think about, say, someone expressing a headache, we know that it's not just a headache here, but that it might convey social distress or anxiety or other concerns. The same thing with backaches, the same with any type of pain. And so somatization is important because we need to pay close attention to not only what people say, but also how they might express it. So sometimes when people don't say certain things, pay close attention to the gaps and the silences as well. For any student that is planning to go into the field of medicine, I think it's absolutely crucial to understand that when people come into the clinic, they actually come with a set of cultural beliefs. They come with different views of their bodies, and it's important to kind of ask questions, listen carefully, and just ask, well, what might you do for, say, a cold or the flu? And understand that not everyone might reach for biomedicine as a first practice. A lot of cultures will actually refer to traditional healers, or they might actually practice self-care in terms of having healing teas, or they might seek out massage therapists. And so it's important to understand that when people come into the clinic, it's often because it might be the place of last resort, or they might go because they have to. They're told by their school or employer that they have to come into the clinic. So always presume that when you see someone in the clinic that they're bringing with them a lot of belief systems and cultural practices. So pay close attention to what people say and also to what they do. This is a significant issue about the importance of culture. Many times people forget that culture is absolutely part of what one does. It's part of one's skin, it's part of the air we breathe, and so rather than take it for granted, it's important to pay attention and take note of the fact that cultural beliefs and practices are very much a part of not only every day, but also of healing and medicine. And so as a good clinician or a medical practitioner, whether one is a nurse, whether one is a doctor, whether one is a public health practitioner, it's important to ask and pay close attention. Right. So across many cultures in Latin America, as well as here in the US, there might be communities or parents and families who believe in the notion of energy, that at the very source of an illness or disease might be energy that could be categorized as good or bad. And so it's important to understand when someone is describing, something might be mal or mala, being bad, to ask questions further. It's like, well, what do you mean? Where do you think this comes from? And to understand that across many cultures, this notion of energy is very important. And rather than dismiss it, to ask further, because sometimes this might be a traditional etiology of disease and might actually refer to unsafe water or unsafe food, or sometimes energy in the environment that might have an influence on sickness. And so it's important to pay attention to these rather than dismiss them, and to think about what energy refers to. On the other hand, it's also important to pay attention to listen to how people heal from those illnesses. Belief is a very powerful system of medicine as well. Rather than dismiss the placebo effect, it's amazing how many people might be cured simply by believing in a medicine or a healer or a system of knowledge. So, as an anthropologist, I urge you, for you who practice in medicine or who want to pursue a career in healing and health, to pay attention to notions of healing that might refer to the spiritual realm, or the realm of belief, or the realm of energy. Yes, there are some wonderful examples about how different communities and traditional communities might address either bad energy, or how to get rid of, how to purge different substances or entities out of one's body. And so, for instance, one might consume tea as a way to cleanse your system. Sometimes one might engage in a ritual that might include, for instance, traditional native cultures might actually burn some type of herb. It could be sage, it could be incense, but this is another way to, through smoke, to cleanse the body and the spirit. Sometimes individuals might be asked, or even their whole family and community might participate in rituals in which they might go into a communal sauna, because sweating and releasing these fluids is another way to cleanse and to purge. Sometimes individuals might also be asked to participate in fasts, and or they might be asked to engage in a series of exercises. So for instance, running a marathon has been part of a lot of Native communities in order to reach a higher level of spiritual cleansing and purification. So many cultures will engage in a whole range of different practices, all with the goal of cleansing and purging. So I just want to encourage you all to continue on this journey, not only in learning about medicine and how to become practitioners, whether in the clinic in biomedicine or healers in other modalities, but also to always remember that culture is at the very heart of medicine, and that belief systems and practices are absolutely critical to the healing practice, to the healing journey. So Good luck in your own journeys, and I wish you all the best. Come see me anytime.